Have you ever reached that long awaited Tuesday afternoon in retirement? The kind of afternoon you used to dream about while you sat in a cubicle? Have you looked at your golf clubs or your crafting table and felt, well, absolutely nothing? Maybe you spent years, even decades, dreaming of the hobbies that would finally make you happy. You told yourself, once I have time for the woodwork, the travel, or the garden, I'll be set. And now that you're actually here, experiencing the lifestyle that you dreamed of every single day, does it feel like it's wearing a bit thin? Does it feel like something's missing? If that's you, you are exactly where you need to be today. Welcome to the Ignite Retirement Podcast. I'm your host, Bill Hennessy, the Retirement Igniter. And today we're going to talk about a very specific, very common, and often very painful realization: what to do when your hobbies wear thin. It's a point of disillusionment that catches so many of us over the age of 50 off guard. We were promised a golden era of leisure, but for a lot of us, the leisure alone isn't enough to sustain a fulfilling life. Let's be brutally honest about what that emptiness feels like. It's not just a passing moment of, I'm bored. It's deeper. It's the moment you realize that the structure of your adult life that you took for granted. The morning commute, the goals, the meetings, the title on your door, it's all completely evaporated. And what replaced it? Nothing but space. A vast, beautiful, terrifying expanse of Tuesday afternoons. For decades, your identity was a quantity known. You were Officer so-and-so, the sales director, or maybe Joe the firefighter. You had a tribe at work. You had a defined role. You had a clear set of metrics for what success looked like. Now, when someone asks, what do? You mumble something about gardening or fishing, and the conversation ends. If you joined us last week, you'll remember that we started talking about the iceberg effect. We discussed how 90% of retirement sits below the surface. When we're working, we focus on the visible top, the tip of that iceberg, the 10% that we can see. That's the financial planning, the bucket list, the travel dates. But what about the 90% below the waterline? That's the heavy stuff. That's where your identity lives. And that's where your need for social connection and deep gut level purpose resides. When your hobbies start to wear thin, it's usually because that 90% below the surface is crying out for attention. You've taken care of the fun part, but you haven't addressed the meaning part. And this is what I call the messy middle. So let's talk about this messy middle. It's that period right after the retirement honeymoon ends. You've done the big trip, you've cleaned out the garage, you've played enough rounds of golf to last a lifetime. And suddenly the days start to feel long. If you're feeling disappointed, I want you to hear me clearly. This is not a failure on your part. It doesn't mean you retired wrong. In fact, that feeling of boredom or thinness is a signal. It's your internal compass telling you that you are built for more than just maintenance. You weren't just designed to pass the time, you were built for impact. When the hobby wears thin, it's a sign that you have gemstones in your backyard that you haven't started digging for yet. These gemstones are the skills and the wisdom and the passions that you've accumulated over the past 50 years that the world still needs. One of the hardest parts of the messy middle is that it feels like you're walking through a fog. You know you want more, but you don't know what more looks like. And this is where having a little bit of help makes all the difference. While you were in your career, you had mentors and managers and peers to help you pivot. Why should retirement be any different? Having someone to help you navigate these messy middle issues, to help you distinguish between a hobby that's just a distraction and a calling that's a destination, is how you're going to get your spark back. You need to move from a mindset of maintenance, just keeping the engine idling, to a mindset of impact, putting that car in gear and heading somewhere meaningful. You don't have to wander through this messy middle alone. If you're realizing today that your hobbies aren't enough, it's time to start developing your resources for the next chapter. To help you with exactly that, I put together a brand new free resource specifically for my listeners who will feel that messy middle tension. To help you with exactly that, I put together a brand new free resource, especially for my listeners who are feeling that messy middle tension. This is a guide that's going to help you look below the surface of that iceberg and discover those gemstones you might have overlooked. Your call to action today is simple. Head over to the Substack community. You can find us at igniteretirement.substack.com. When you join the conversation, you'll be joining the conversation with others who are navigating these same waters. Download your free Messy Middle resource guide right here on the homepage. When you join the community, you'll be joining a conversation with others who are navigating these same waters. So download your free Messy Middle resource guide right there on the homepage. Your next chapter isn't just about passing time, it's about igniting your purpose. I'm Bill Hennessy, and I'll see you in the Substack community.